Hey guys, Captain Henson here. So, today's video, thought I'd finally discuss an Alien Predator story. It is my second favorite franchise. So, about high time I do a review. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about Alien vs. Predator Prey. The first AVP novel, which is actually an adaptation of the first comic. Now, this was certainly a monumental story, being the first time these two franchises were crossing over. And the really interesting thing about it is, despite being the first AVP story, in universe-wise, they don't make a big deal out of the fact that they're crossing over. So, what's the story? Well, it's about a group of predators, youngbloods, or unblooded, going on a rite of passage. They, send out, they release the eggs so facehuggers can implant and xenomorphs, and can create xenomorphs, and gives the youngbloods something to hunt, as they aren't supposed to hunt humans for their first, hunt. But given that this is also an alien story, obviously things go wrong. And while that is going on, and the planet they're on, Ryushi, is actually home to a human settlement, a cattle ranch, essentially. And again, like I said, given that this is an alien story, shit goes wrong. The predators are left stranded due to their ship being destroyed. The leader, Dashinde, and the other blooded preds are, Dashinde's injured, and the other blooded preds are killed, leaving what are essentially snot-nosed teenagers free reign. And obviously they go batshit crazy. And the human settlement, of course, is, fucked. So, this story is really good. If you are a fan of either franchise, this is definitely a story for you. Now, unlike, say, Freddy vs. Jason, which heavily sides on one franchise over the other, this one, it's just an Alien and Predator story put together. With Predator, obviously we have predators going to a planet, wanting to hunt. And with Alien, we have, shit going wrong and people being trapped on in a rather isolated location with a bunch of aliens. Now, the Predators have actual characters. And at one point, the lead, Dashinde, teams up with the humans, one of them being Machiko Noguchi, the main human character. Now, I've heard it said before that the idea of a human and predator teaming up is dumb, but I honestly don't think so. Because the thing with predators is, they are bad guys, but I can't really call them villains. They're assholes. We can't really call them villains because, if you have aliens infesting a planet, they're going to do something about it. Because they do have honor. They do, they aren't supposed to harm unarmed civilians or pregnant women, shit like that. And it's a really interesting dynamic in this between Dashinde and Machiko. Because Machiko, she's not really one with the settlers. She's more closed off. They call her a cold bitch. And while she tries to be more personable, well, she's still a cold bitch. Well, people still see her as a cold bitch. But she believes highly in her honor. So, of course, she meshes well with Dashinde. And, obviously, given the Preds have... Well, given the facial structure of the Preds, and there's a language barrier, what I'm trying to say. But there is enough of a connection so that they can understand each other without actually needing to understand each other verbally. And it's a really interesting dynamic, and it sets up her character moving forward. I know everybody probably knows at this point what happens to Machiko, but for the hell of it, I'm not going to say it. Read it for yourself. Just know that if this story were made nowadays, you would have you would have a certain group, and you probably know which one I'm referring to, bitching and whining about the decision. Even though, in this case, it makes perfect sense, and honestly, I'm surprised why they didn't bitch about it yet. And in terms of, so if you're a Predator fan, oh yeah, this is a great one. But if you're an Alien fan, well, the aliens are portrayed the same way they were in Aliens. More so mindless drones running around and killing people. Not the dome-headed drone we saw in the first film, but the rigid-headed warrior insects we saw in the second. I mean, most of the franchise was influenced by the second film, but yeah. I enjoy the portrayal, it makes sense. And the main characters are definitely Machiko and Dashinde. And the side characters are also interesting too. Now what's really interesting is, in this story, I can't remember if those two characters were in the comic or not, but, you know, we have Machiko, who's Japanese. We also have a lesbian couple in here as well. So, honestly, I'd say this is like the perfect story to adapt into a film, because so many boxes you could check off in this one. And luckily, the characters are actually good. Who would have thought? Now, I recommend the book, but I also recommend the comic. The book is an adaptation of the comic, so if you read the comic first, more details will be added when you read the book. And plus you get the visual aspect of it, which I think is a plus. So, what do you guys think of AVP Prey / the comic? Do you think it worked well as the first AVP story? Would you love to see this story, redone or adapted into a film? Let me know in the comment section below.